Last question, number 7. Options to study are indeed limited in the UK when you think of student affairs. But you're right, you don't necessarily need to have a student affairs degree. And gosh, I wouldn't want to work in a place where all people have student affairs degrees. I think, quite honestly, that would be hell. Oh, I forgot to say this, which I really want to mention. What my experience in the US and the UK that's been different. In the US, I feel a lot has been in student affairs around kumbaya and feelings and which has to do with that intensity, and people not be willing to have proper conversations about what's the root and the heart of the problem. The amount of icebreakers I have done in the US and the amount of things that in a culture like within the UK that just wouldn't work. Fluff, I don't like it personally, but that probably is more to do with my Belgian background. But that's the importance of understanding context as well. Anyway, I skipped back. I'm going back to question 7 in terms of working in the field and needing that degree. You don't. Honestly, everyone brings something. You've learned something in whatever degree you've done. Bring that. First of all, if you've been a student in a higher education institution, you bring that experience. But it's not replicable. So it's not one size fits all. Just because I've had my experience as a photography student at a post-1992 institution at Staffordshire University doesn't mean that's the same as, and I'm a white student, I'm a woman, I identify straight. That really is very different to, for instance, a woman of colour who identifies as bi at a STEM college at Imperial College. Like that just, that has to be borne in mind. But I think those lived experiences are really, really, really important, whether you are a staff member or a student. And some of those student ones you can translate into being a staff member at those institutions. So yeah, I think there's more freedom here. People aren't judging you definitely at all for not having that degree. I think there's probably also more openness within the UK for people who have just AS levels, who haven't gone through further or higher education, to still work at universities, because I think that's great. There are certain roles who probably would require it a bit more. So going back to what I said earlier of having the lived experience of having been at college or university, but I really don't think that's an essential at all. If not, what master's degree would you recommend an individual who wants to enter the field in the UK? Any master's, a master's degree in student affairs, higher education, anything around that from a reputable US program, I think is great. I wouldn't choose just any master's degree in the US. There are many of them, and some have better reputations than others. So choose wisely. I made a spreadsheet of, I think, 170 programs that I looked at and then cancelled out by locations. Price as well. I didn't want to pay tuition fees. GRE, didn't want to do that. So, think of that well. I think therethere's great value in MBAs, particularly if you're wanting to look at your future and if you're ambitious to go up to the higher echelon, so to say. Any psychology, sociology, anthropology, masters, social work. Oh my God. People I worked with at MSU in my assistantship had social work degrees. They were amazing. So that's a really good one as well. Anything, like I said earlier, where you work with people, you observe people, you analyze people, they are really, really, social science valuable degrees, and master's degrees to bring to any place, to be honest. And I wish the US would take on those folks a little bit more within student affairs.